Well, hello, coffee time friends. It's coffee time. It's supper time. It's a good time. Mama's making drum roll. There should be a drum roll. Cornbread.
Yeah.
Show them that cornbread, Mama. Show them that beautiful cornbread
I
footage.
got a cup of meal and about a half a cup of flour in here, and I'm going to put an egg. And then I'm going to put buttermilk and get it in the oven.
That sounds wonderful, Mama.
And I've got the skillet at heat, and I hope it's had time to get warm or hot.
How long would it take normally? 10, 15 minutes?
I don't know. It's according how hot the oven will get. But I had it in our 2 minutes. Hopefully it'll be in there. All I'm doing is mixing my egg and my buttermilk in with my meal and flour. And I don't know how much milk. I'm just mixing till it looks.
Mixing by right?
Yeah, I just pour a little bit, mix, and a little bit more mix. Trying to get thin like.
Cornbread by
Give it just a dab more milk. And I think that should be. Oh, somebody's messy Marvin.
It slops good.
Yeah. I think I had that towel there handy. Now I'm going to get my skillet. Hopefully it's hot.
Okay, this is just a can of kraut here. Just opened a can. And I put 2 Winnies in it. And this was just plain old hot dogs. Now these are jumbo franks from Fisher's. And we'll put those on the stove. We'll be ready to cook them. Let's look at this cornbread batter. Now look at that. That's the consistency you want. Good, thick, but easy to pour.
Go ahead and put that other one in there.
Put this one in there too?
Yeah, hurry, while this is hot. It's
Alright, so
smoking.
see,
Whoa,
it's gonna fry as you pour it in.
it did get hot.
It got plenty hot, Mama. But you want it to fry. Some people say they don't do that. And that's fine. But it does make a good crust. Alright. And that's how you do that. Mama, you don't ever eat 3 lemons. You're going to do that tonight.
That's like that chicken. Kraut and wings.
Huh?
It's like that chicken. I think I'm wanting kraut and wings.
Well, Mama, you can have this whole pack if you want.
Oh,
I just thought you'd say, oh, you've wasted all them wings. You think you want plenty of them, huh?
I think so. I don't know. I may be wrong after all.
Well, they'll eat tomorrow and maybe even the next day. So this is Winnie's and kraut.
Yeah, all I'm going to do is.
That's all that is, folks. There's not an ounce of seasoning, nothing but kraut and wings.
All I'm going to do is add just a hair of bacon grease to give it.
Okay, there goes that bacon grease we talked about last night. Got liquid gold. It's going in there. But when you're dealing with the kraut, you've got that vinegary kraut taste. It's so good. There's nothing any better than fermented cabbage. Mama and Granny used to make something they called freezer slaw, and it reminded me of kraut slaw when I was a kid. But we've not made it in many years. And it had didn't you put a vinegary something over it?
It had a vinegary coat, and I can't really remember.
It was called freezer slaw. I remember it.
Yeah, it didn't last.
Love y'all show. Well, thank you, Teresa. We're having a age-old staple. My uncle won't eat soup beans now because he said he had them every day of his life. Soup beans were cheap, and it would feed a lot of folks, and it was full of protein. So if you didn't have a meat, and you could get a hold of some dried pinto beans, you could feed a good-sized family a lot of protein. Or if you had a little meat, you could substitute with pinto beans. So some people had I've heard people around here jokingly say one night we'd have beans and cornbread, and the next night we'd have cornbread and beans, just to keep it different. Do what, Mama?
We used to say we went home from school, had potatoes and beans, or beans and potatoes.
Come over this way, Mama.
We always had bread, though.
Mm-hmm. So that is what we're having tonight. And it's going to be so good that cornbread needs to cook for about 20 minutes in that oven over there. So we'll check it in about 20. The Crown Winnies, they just need to come to a good boil.
Get those Winnies good.
And get the Winnies good and done. The pinto beans are done. They've been cooking. When did you put them on?
Oh, I don't know.
Noon.
It's after that, about 1:30 or something. But I've had them boiling all evening.
They've been on there about 5 hours and a
I'm
half.
going to get tea. You want tea or you want something else?
Yeah, I think tea would be fitting if it's caffeinated.
Yeah.
And I look I've done been.
Here
you go. You bring it in here.
Yeah.
I've done been hitting some tea. I love y'all's tea. If I can get a hold of some decaffeinated, I can drink all I want and it don't bother me at all. But I drink coffee with caffeine. But I drink it all day today too. It's been a stormy day, and what's one reason we're a little early tonight. We've got the promise of some more storms, and the other night it knocked us off the air. So we want to try to get past the storms before it knocks us off the air. We don't want another 2-part video if we can keep from it. Those are
You
just
need
everywhere.
ice in yours, or
No, I'm good. I'm just going to put a little tea on top of this.
you want your
Love soup
lemon
beans.
juice?
No, if you want some, put me some in there. I'm just wanting liquid. I'm supposed to call that liquid gold. I guess tea could be liquid gold too, but bacon grease is what we refer to as liquid gold. Now, I'm going to show you these chow-chows. This is called Sweet Chow Chow. We bought this one to try out. It's pretty good. It's not Mama's, but it's very good. And this is called Spring Valley Farms. Old-fashioned Spring Valley Farms. Home-style candy. And you know what, Spring Valley Farms? You've done a good job. We get this as the local Save-A-Lot. This is Mama's. This is, y'all probably helped us make these last year. The date was the date on the lid. For what we didn't make them last year, probably made them year before last. To be honest with you, I don't think we canned anything last year.
Not much of nothing.
Thank you for that tea, Mama.
You're welcome.
And I'm still drinking on this coffee.
What's this plate for?
Cornbread.
Cornbread.
That ain't our usual cornbread plate, but
No, it's not.
it was right there with these 2 bowls. And you know what? I just grabbed it. I've cut up onion. I've got the table set. Mom already had the beans done. I knew we was going to whoop that crowd up. And she's going to make cornbread, and we're done. That's the whole mix right there for tonight. The beans just over there lightly simmering.
You want to see if they're perfect or not?
Mama, I beat you to it. They're perfect.
Oh, you didn't taste it?
Didn't taste them. No, I didn't taste nothing.
I want to see if they're soggy.
Well, bring it over here and I'll help you out with that, Mama. I didn't dare taste. I just looked, and they looked so perfect. Here we go, folks. Don't those look perfect beans to you? This is an absolutely perfectly clean spoon. Let's you and I taste together. Look at that. They're hot, in case you're wondering.
That spoon was over here. That Tupperware dipper. Well, you can dip it with this, and I stir them with.
Yeah, we're good. I didn't know what you was needing. I was trying to think. Let's give these a whirl. They're hot now. They're going to take some blowing because...
Ooh, they're steaming.
Well, when you cook something for 6 hours, it tends to harbor a little heat.
It does.
Yeah. Jacksboro, Arkansas. Well, hello, or Jonesboro, Arkansas. Hello, Deborah. They're perfectly soft.
Are they salty enough that we need to put more? I put them in when I first started them.
I would use a little more salt.
Well, sprinkle a little more in there.
But I'm going to reserve, and you taste of it, and you put what you want. Yeah, I could say a little more salt.
Well, I'm going to put some in there. It'll blend real good while it's hot up there.
This doesn't have salt back or strictly lean or pork of any kind in it because Mama didn't put it in there. We probably had some in the freezer, but we don't always put it in there. But she always puts bacon grease, which is the same effect. Exact same effect. Mama don't really like to do the spoon thing, but I see no wrong in it. I think that's just something from her picky days.
What?
Taking the big spoon and putting it in a spoon you already used.
Yeah.
As long as they don't touch, I don't see how they can cross-contaminate.
All we're waiting on now is just the
I don't.
cornbread to get.
That made a big difference.
It did.
It kind of, it leveled it out to a good flavor.
It did.
Well, you can put a little bit more in your plate if you want, but there's nothing wrong with that, Mama.
Oh, it's good.
There's an art to cooking a good pot of soup beans. You need to get your beans, and we use silers. Sometimes we use the one that save a lot, but
I've been using one that saved a lot because I couldn't find the Siler Star or something.
something. But these are silers, and you pour them out on your counter, clean counter. You can use a bowl or a tray, whatever you want to do. And you're looking for mud balls and little gravels. You'll find one or two once in a while, and you'll think, well, but if you find one or two and you don't put them in your pot, that's a good thing. Now, a mud ball probably is going to dissolve. You'll never know you didn't find it. But then little rocks and stuff that sometimes gets mixed in there, those, you'd be glad when you don't find those in your bowl. But you look and you wash them. Put them in a colander, run water over them, let them soak. Some people let them soak overnight. Some people boil their beans, pour that water off, and then put more water in and boil those. We don't do that part. We wash them good. We put them in a kettle or the crock pot. We prefer a kettle. Cover them up with about 2.5 inches of water. Put you some bacon grease or strictly lean or some kind of fat back in there, or just a piece of bacon that you have. I've seen people, I don't know why, but they'll roll it up and put a toothpick through it and put it in there. And it's easier to catch, I guess, but a piece of bacon ain't going to work if you put it in there, just a whole piece.
It'll cook up sometimes if you cook them, put it in our earlier part of the cooking.
Yeah. And then you just let them come to a boil, a hard rolling boil. And you want to let them boil, that's when you can't stir it down. They're just boiling, and you'll just see the beans. Let them do that for about 30, 40 minutes, Mama. Stand right there with them and stir them. Make sure they're good. And then turn them down and let them simmer. Put your lid on them.
These kettles I've had before I had you. Mm-hmm. And these are Town Craft. They're 5-layer steel on the bowl. Mm-hmm. And I put the lid on them once they get to boiling and cooking good. I put the lid on them and then I turn them down, not on low, but almost on low.
Medium low.
And it'll keep boiling in these kettles.
But now when she says boiling, she means just a good simmer. You don't want them rapid boiling.
Rapid boiling, no. And it cooks them pretty good.
And it cooks them in you could eat them in about 2.5, 3 hours. When they're soft, you can eat them. But we let them just boil and simmer for 4 or 5 hours, something, Mama.
Well, when I've got time. If not, I'll cook them harder and faster.
You can cook them harder and faster. You can Instapot them. You can do all kinds of wonderful things with them. So there's no wrong way. If you end up with a cooked bean, you did it right.
Your daddy sometimes wouldn't wait. He'd say, "Oh, I can eat them. They ain't that hard."
Daddy would eat them that was just al dente. You don't want al dente beans. But they really do. There's just something about them. There's just something about a good pot of beans. It's more than a supper. It's like it's a tradition. They're just so good. Cornbread and beans, onions and chow chow. Now, Mama likes the sauerkraut and the wieners. I will eat some sometimes.
Sometimes you won't.
But that's not a part of my bean meal. I want beans. Beans, cornbread. And yes, ma'am, yes, sir, I'm eating them there, cornbreads tonight. I've even got me some softened butter here, and I'm eating it too. I will cut back another day. Now, I'm not going to eat a whole pound of cornbread. I'm not even going to overdo it, but I'm going to have that bread and butter. I don't even remember the last time a pound of cornbread darkened the door in this house. Do you remember the last time?
Last time we had was way back when we had the tomatoes and we fried us a little cornbread.
Now, I remember the fried cornbread.
Fried fritters, but that's
I'm talking about a whole pound of cornbread.
We ain't had none in a long time.
It's since my memory won't let me go back to it. But maybe I was blocking it out. Like, don't think about that cornbread, John. Now, you have to realize, we were on a 3-pound-a-week habit. If we had it 3 times a week, that was normal. If we had it 4, we were lucky. If we had it 5, we'd say, boy, we've really eaten the cornbread this week. But it wouldn't have been something we would have really batted an eye at if we'd had it 5 times. Because we are cornbread people. And we like biscuits. But there was a biscuit or cornbread on the table at every meal.
Every meal. You had bread.
Or occasionally a Sister Schubert roll. And they're not even my favorites, to be honest with you. That one I ate part of last night is one of my favorites, some Hawaiian ones. Mama's trying her best to get that plate to the phone table.
Can't get myself situated. Like
I know
that.
you've
I've moved.
you're like a
moved.
bird building a nest.
I've moved and moved and moved.
Look here, she's rearranging some beans and cornbread and them pot holders. I don't know what she's trying to get situated, but she's trying to get her nest built. That's what we say here. If you fidgety around with stuff, or if you get in the bed and you flop your pillow.
I think this is done.
Moment of silence here. Let's look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Now look at this. Oh. That's a perfect pound of cornbread. Perfect pound of cornbread. Mark the date. Somebody mark the date. We are having our cornbread here on the 8th day of May.
And I'm going to set this over here so you can cut butter and do
Just enjoy it. Just enjoy it like a friend who's not been around in a while. We sure are glad to see you. We are so glad to see the napkins. I don't know, we just destroyed. I had this table set and it just got destroyed.
I kept messing it up.
Now that them krauts and wings just right there. I think I can cut this cornbread with this knife.
If you can, I'll get you one good.
No, I'm going to cut it right here gentle like on this non-cornbread plate.
Yeah.
If you scuffed around on this plate with a knife or a metal utensil, you would get asked very politely, can I get you a paper plate or something if you're going to scratch around?
I ain't that bad.
Mama.
Yeah, probably.
If you want to scratch around, let me get you a paper plate or something. You can just dig right in there. Don't act like you wouldn't, Mama. You know.
I'm being good right now.
Now, I ain't scratching around, am I?
No, you're not.
Because I know better, don't I? Ooh, that's hot. It's what happened. Something's wrong with our ovens. Every time we put anything in them, they come out so hot you can't touch them. I'm going to have them seen about.
You want a saucer, you can lay it on your napkin.
I'm going to lay it on my napkin because saucer's something else to have to
wash tonight.
Wash. Look at that salt and butter.
Mm.
Woo! It didn't take me long to look at that cornbread.
It was fast. I didn't know what hand could jerk it fast.
Ooh. You talking about sizzling. There you go, Mama.
Oh, thank you.
Now, let me think. This is bigger than that.
Yeah.
I ain't even going to be shy. I'm just going to go for a bigger one.
You don't want that little old thing.
That little, it's at least a half a centimeter smaller than this one. We ain't going for him. Gonna give me some. Ooh, that knife is hot.
Well, it's spinning through that cornbread. It won't.
Now that right there, I'm gonna let you in here. Let me put yours right up here.
Mm.
These two stackables are buttered because I don't want butter with my other.
No, we'll leave them.
That butter, that's dessert.
That's dessert, ain't it?
That's dessert. Let's bless it. What do you say?
Yeah, let's bless it.
Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this wonderful meal time. We thank you for these precious hands that prepared it. And Lord, we're ever so thankful we're able to sit here together in health and be able to protect this meal. Dear Lord, we just pray that you'll bless our bodies with it. Dear Lord, watch over us, lead, guide, and direct us. And Lord, be with each and every prayer request that's out there, every need, every tear that has fallen. Dear Lord, we just pray that you'll just dry and help them. Lord, and just be with them in every way possible. In your blessed name we pray and ask these things. And amen.
Amen.
All right, Mama. It's the big times. I want plenty of juice. How about you?
I'm going to get mine. You give me too many.
You ain't gonna let me dip yours?
No.
You don't trust me. She don't
No,
trust
I
me.
don't trust you.
She don't trust me, folks. Now look at that.
I ain't the bean eater that you are. I'm like your uncle. I ate them all my
Mama, that ain't even a boat. The bottom ain't even covered.
I don't want it covered.
Oh, you're gonna put your sack right on there. Mm-hmm. Oh, I never would have got that fixed. You're right. He was right to not let me fix that.
Okay.
Now there's mine, folks.
There's your sauerkraut.
That's just like downtown. Just like it. Now what I like to do, this is my little thing. I like to get my chow chow. And I like to spill it right there. And put a little bit more right there. And then I like to get me a big old chunk of onion. And I put him right there. And they'll sit right there together. Then I want to get this piece of cornbread. Now my granny, she would hold her cornbread the whole time she ate, just like this. And she'd eat a bite and she'd take a bite. She'd eat a bite. My daddy would do the same thing. And I would try to do that and I'd get all messed up. So I always lay mine down and I'll take a little piece.
Get uncoordinated with it.
Yeah. I put a little piece of cornbread in there. I don't like to crumble it all up in there. You destroy all your juice. I like to get a piece of cornbread in there and let it soak. I like to take one little ribbon of that onion, put right there with that cornbread, and get me one little bite of chow chow, put right there with it. And I'll make me a little bite. Once I get that bite made, I scoop it up in my spoon. And I'm done. Now look at that. That's the perfect bite. Now you may have to sit here a second and let it come off the heat a little bit. How's that sauerkraut wieners?
It's good. I did yip you now. I told you to get yours.
Is that what you wanted?
Yeah, I wanted something tangy or something.
Something, yeah, sometimes that's what we want.
I'm not that big a bean eater as you are.
Happy birthday to me, Mama. That couldn't have been, it ain't my birthday.
No, it's not.
But that couldn't have been more of a delicious bite.
Did I surprise you?
You surprised me, Mama. It was a wonderful surprise. I thought we was having leftovers.
I felt sorry for
I never dreamed we'd get a whole fresh meal today.
I felt sorry for you wanting beans the other day.
Yeah, I'm glad you did. That's the reason I said it the other day. trying to drag up a little sympathy vote.
It worked.
It worked. Mom, we got a big day coming up. We need to talk about that. What would you like for Mother's Day?
You don't know.
Huh?
You don't know.
I done know.
Mm-hmm.
What do I done know?
I told you other day.
Uh-oh, I was supposed to be paying attention to something. Tell them, they forgot.
I didn't tell them, I just told you.
Oh.
I ribeye, a baked potato.
Oh.
That's all I want. I don't have to have no salad, no nothing. Just a ribeye and a baked potato Sunday.
You want to go out?
Not on Mother's Day.
You want me to cook it here?
Well, sure, I want you to cook it here.
Well, you got it, Mama. So we know what we're having for Mother's Day. Ribeye and a baked potato.
Mm-hmm.
She don't want no green salad.
No, nothing healthy.
Mama, you know what? Since it's Mother's Day, I might not even force one on us.
That'd be good.
I might just say, we'll
I
just
just
let
want
that
to
go.
eat the steak and potato. That'll fill me up.
All right. Anything else you want?
Mm-mm. Oh, dessert. Let's see.
You better bring that one up quick because I'll have to buy that.
Oh, we've got some dessert.
Raspberry cheesecake or something like that.
Yeah, we've got an apple cheesecake in the fridge.
There you go.
Some of it.
Call from 731.
Now, I can't bake, but I can thaw.
Mm-hmm. I wish that phone would put me.
Do y'all get those scam calls? This says right on there. This is probably spam. That's what we get.
Mm-hmm.
This is probably a spam call.
I've been getting unknown caller
Mm-hmm.
or whatever it says like that. I'll drop
We don't accept unknown calls.
It's 2 or 3 today.
Yeah. I get them on my cell phone. Oh, this cornbread is so good.
It is.
I think I could be like you and just eat the cornbread. Not even had anything else.
Yeah.
Folks, these soup beans, I love them so good. I'm kind of ashamed to say it. And I'm sorry, Mama, for the way I probably acted. When I was not a baby, teenager, my poor old daddy about wore us out on beans up now.
Oh, yeah.
But Mama would say, we're having soup beans. And I'd say, I might eat out. I might pick up something and bring home. I never did. I wasn't that brave, really. Or I'd say, beans, Mama? I don't care for beans. Well, your daddy wanted them, so we're having them. And we'd have them better 7 to 10 days, wouldn't we, Mama?
Often that sometimes.
Sometimes every day. And Mama always made a big kettle, so there's always 3 days leftovers.
But I had fried potatoes or mustard greens or something with them.
Macaroni and cheese sometime for me. And I probably acted up some nights and said, I never did act up too bad, not really, but I would say, Mama, beans again? And act all ungrateful. Was that awful?
No, you never was bad about that.
But with age, I'm acting just like my daddy.
The older you get, the more and more like you get.
That's the truth. That's just the truth. And I find I like the same old stuff he does. Beans is one of my favorites again. I mean, you know, the other night I was whining and fussing because we hadn't had them in 72 weeks.
And used to, when you was real little, people would say, you look just like your daddy. And when you was real little, you'd whine up and make a face and you'd say, I'm not just like my daddy, am I? I'm just like me.
Well, it wasn't him. It wasn't him. I just didn't want people saying I look like nobody.
I look just like me.
I want to be like me. I'm me. I guess I was afraid people would get us confused or something. I just always wanted to look like myself.
You didn't like it when they.
This is as close to comfort food as you can get. It's as close to memories as I can get. It's absolutely delicious, y'all. Just watching. Mary says, yum. I love relish, but my tummy don't. Gloria Drummond, some people have that problem. Now, Mama can eat a little relish.
These are squash.
These are squash. They don't.
Summer squash pickles. I take my squash pickle recipe and all I do is grind it up to make the chow chow. And it's not hot and it's a good flavor and it don't bother me and I can eat it.
Mama can eat pickled stuff better than she can eat raw onions or spicy or vegetables, even the sauerkraut. She has no problem with sauerkraut. Do you?
Oh, your daddy went through them sauerkraut stages.
Oh, mercy.
Oh, poor old fella ate sauerkraut every day for a while.
He did that his whole life, though.
Not as bad as when he was.
But when he got older and he got sick, nothing didn't taste right. He got on I can just remember a few things, like shredded wheat breakfast cereal, the mini wheats. He ate boxes of those. He would eat them 3 times a day sometimes. He got on Lux Pinto beans. That's all he wanted, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. One thing we got him hooked on, and we never was so glad we did, was Hungry Man Salisbury steak, wasn't it?
He liked that, yeah.
And he would eat that 3 or 4 times a week. And he never turned on it.
But he wanted it for lunch, not for supper.
He wanted it at lunchtime, but he would, what was the bad part is he would order up something that for Mama to cook, like chicken and dumplings. And then he'd take one bite and say, no, this ain't what I want. And can you fix me a pork chop? And then it was like, Mama would go fix a pork chop. And if he didn't want the pork chop, he'd say, I just let it go. I just can't eat it. So it was always a something to get him to eat. So when I introduced Mama first, I had to convince her first about them frozen dinners. Then she made him one. And he said, that's good. Well, then that started it.
Mm-hmm.
Which was a lifesaver. Because it kept Mama from cooking 3 or 4 meals. And that way, when he would say, make me dumplings or make me this, and she didn't like it, she would say, how about one of them Salisbury steaks? Yeah, that sounds good, he'd say. So it turned out to be a good thing, didn't it, Mama?
Yeah, it helped out a whole lot.
My granny used to tell a tale about a preacher. Back in the day, a lot of churches didn't have preachers. They would have a preacher that drove around. Some of them would come on horses, some of them would come in cars, but they'd drive around to different places and they would preach, like at our church for Sunday morning, Sunday night, one Sunday. And then the next Sunday they'd be at another location, like a circuit preacher. Well, Granny would oftentimes bring them home and feed them. Sunday lunch, they'd sit around here on the porch, and they would sleep and nap and talk and whatever, you know, and she'd feed them supper, feed them dessert, make ice cream, all those things you see about. And then they'd go back to church. She said she had one preacher, the eatingest man she thinks she ever seen. He was a little man, little skinny thing, but he ate a bushel basket, she said. And she said he would eat, and he'd dip out some beans, and then or cornbread, and then he'd say, I'm going to have to have some more of them beans. It didn't even up. So he'd get more beans, and he'd need more cornbread. Then he'd have more cornbread, and he'd say, can't get it evened up. Let me get a few more beans. She said he would eat and eat, and she said that poor little thing must have been starved to death. But nothing pleased my granny more than to feed somebody. She said, my papa would used to say the blessing. And so Daddy was really hungry one Sunday. She said he had asked her 15 times, when we going to eat? When we going to eat? When we going to eat? So she said, Don, we're going to eat when I get this on the table. Now you hush and go on. So they got set down.
He was little though.
He was little. 3. We'll say 3 because the story's been told 100,000 times. So they all gathered around the table and they all held hands to pray and said she was going to ask Papa, his daddy, my Papa, to say the blessing. Said, my daddy jumped up and said, Mommy, can I say the blessing? And she said, the preacher said, well, yeah, he could say the blessing. So they all gathered hands and said, my daddy said, Lord, thank you for this food. Help me to eat everybody every day, man. And so he started eating. She said he was embarrassed her to death, so that preacher just thought it was the funniest thing. So they just all ate and went on. She said, Lord, thank you for this food. Let me help me to eat everybody every day, man. He didn't get set in no more, I don't believe. Not without talking to him.
Not with preachers, though, for certain.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure there was a talking to him.
Got him.
Yeah. And I bet you he always said that I got off on everything. She ain't never got on you like she has me, he'd say. Well, if that had been me, he'd always say that. But she'd always say to me, just like, you're about to worry me to death. Or I wish you'd like some more. Man, you're getting on my nerves. Or you're about to worry me to death about everything, wouldn't you?
Yeah, she.
Mama, here's this cornbread just sitting
I
here.
can't eat it right now.
Well, I can't. No, I've waited weeks and months and maybe even years. Look at that. That's cornbread. That's cornbread and butter, folks. That's the good stuff right there. Mm. I can't describe to you how good that tastes.
Better cornbread's like eating a piece of cake.
Oh, and this tastes better than any I've ever had.
It's not been that long.
Years. I believe the last time you fixed cornbread here, I was a youngin'.
Oh.
Do y'all remember it? I can't remember it. I believe I was a youngin' the last time we had cornbread. Mm. You gonna eat that cornbread?
You leave it alone.
There used to be a commercial, had a little cute girl on it, and I don't even know what pickle it was. Some of y'all help me. It was a commercial in the 70s, I guess. And she was a cute little girl. You remember this?
Mm-mm. You was a commercial watcher when you was little.
It could have been Vlasic, it could have been any of them, I don't know. And she would always look and she'd say, you gonna eat that pickle? And whoever it was would be acting like they was gonna eat it, and then give it to her and she'd smile. Do y'all remember that commercial?
I ain't that old.
Last Thanksgiving, Nancy says, is that when you had cornbread last? My mama always cut it and buttered it. Oh, yeah, that's what we do. Yes, indeed, your dinner looks delicious. Thank you. Daddy didn't like it cut because he wanted to get all the edges. He'd go around it breaking it. We break our bread. He says, we'd say, you do. We cut ours. You break yours.
If we got any crust on the outside, we had to hurry up and cut it.
Gloria trying to say yes with butter. Have you ever had a cold bean sandwich? Carol, are you joking? Every time we have beans, you mean, are you talking about literally cold beans on white bread the next day? Uh-huh. Yes, 100 times yes, love them. Mama cleaned that plate up. She did, didn't she?
Yeah.
And she don't know this, don't tell her. That cabbage is that crowd's a vegetable, it's cabbage. She knows, I'm just aggravated. Oh, okay, I'm going to cook soup, beans, and cornbread tomorrow. Okay, Althea, that sounds like a good job. You need soup, beans with that cornbread. They did. Yeah, we had soup, beans with that cornbread. John, you need to write a book about your family and the way you were raised, and a lot of the sayings that I could write a book, Sylvia. Let me tell you why I can write a book, Sylvia. I was that little weird kid that y'all hate at family reunions. To be honest, I was an only child. And them kids got on my nerves, even when I was a kid. And I'd cry right there in the middle of the adults and just sit there on the floor and listen to all them stories. Because I'd rather listen to stories and all that old stuff. I loved it. And they'd say, won't you go play with them kids while you got a chance? Isn't it funny? He don't have brothers and sisters, and he'd rather sit in here on the floor and listen to us as to go play with them kids. Go play while you got a chance. And I'm thinking, chance? I've been playing with them. They got on my nerves screaming and yelling and running around. Now, my two cousins who were like my brothers, we always played and had a good time. But when the whole family was here, and there'd be 25, 30 kids, sometimes 250 kids.
Oh, they weren't never that many.
Felt like it. And they would play and scream and holler and they'd cry, and I think, goodness. But I always liked to listen to them old stories. And my granny would sit and sew. She loved to do quilts, and we got several of her quilts. And so she moved in with us when I was in 4th grade. And she stayed several years before she ventured out and got her own place. But she would sit for hours and patch quilts. Well, she really wasn't patching them. It was called patchwork quilts.
She was quilting.
She was making them from patches and
That's
stuff.
hard.
Tell me stories. Old stories of when she had a store and when Daddy was growing up. And I mean, I knew some names of some cows that they had when my daddy was little, because she would tell stories about those old cows, and she'd tell stories about her mommy and my Uncle Wiley. And I remember those old stories, and my granny could tell a good story. Now, that was a fact. And so I do love old stories on them all.
Yeah. You're like my brother, too. He could remember.
Uh-huh. With mustard. Oh, cornbread with mustard is good, Doreen. I love it. Love those soup beans. They are good, aren't they? Good evening, John and Mom. Yes, it's delicious. It's green beans on white, pinto beans on white bread with butter. Now, I never had butter on it. I'll have to try some butter on them. I just take cold beans and put them on a piece of light bread and do a fold over.
That's why I do mashed potatoes, too.
Do you ever eat that kind of bean sandwich the next day? They're thick and you just mash them over and eat. Now, that's some good eats, too. Hello, John and Mama from Arkansas. Hey, Betty. With ketchup. Elaine, I never tried that. Some of y'all made me eat not long ago, and I'd never tried it, and it was oh so good. I can't remember what it was now. But I tried it right here with you, and I thought, no, that's good.
What was your daddy putting his beans? Man, sometimes. Oh.
And I've heard some of y'all talk about that.
He
He wouldn't put it in Mama's beans.
Oh, no.
He wanted Mama's beans just like they are. But a can of Lux beans, after he'd eaten them 14 days in a row, he'd open up a can of Lux beans and he'd put a glop of...
He wouldn't open them up, no. He'd eat them.
Mama fixing some Lux beans, and he'd say, get the mayonnaise. Mama said, oh, mercy. And he'd put the mayonnaise in them, and he'd put a little mayonnaise and stir it, and he'd say...
Try it.
It's kind of like the age-old, everything tastes like chicken. And people will say, eat about this. It tastes like chicken. I'm like, I'll just have chicken. But he'd put that mayonnaise in there, stir it, and he'd say, it kind of tastes like potato salad. And I'd say, Daddy, I don't want potato salad in my pinto beans. Well, it's good. You ought to try it. No. Now, that was one thing I wouldn't try. I did try a salad dressing or mayonnaise with bananas. It ain't half bad. I did try that. I did try peanut butter and sugar sandwiches. just sugar.
He like that.
Just take your piece of white bread, smother it with some peanut butter, and take your fingers. Don't use a spoon. He would never have done that. And you just dip down in there and get your little handful of it and do this and strangle it and let it come out your fingers. And you fold it over and it's good. It's like a crystallized jelly, I guess. Didn't think I liked that. I did. Something else he had me try that I just...
He'd eat jelly and macaroni and cheese. I couldn't. Oh,
Yeah, he did that. Blackberry jelly and macaroni and cheese. I have tasted it and it's not horrible.
I won't taste none of this stuff.
I'm not going to eat it though. But it's not horrible. He came up with some stuff.
Oh, I reckon.
He could come up with some stuff. And he always would insist how good it was and say, try it.
Here, take a bite. Take a bite. Come on, take a bite of this.
No. Never had cold beans with white bread, and I must have missed out. Karen, it's probably one of them things that it's, at our age now, if we try it for the first time, we might have thought, yeah, this ain't the best thing I ever had. But as a kid, and we just always had that, didn't we, Mama?
Yes, I did. I didn't eat cold beans on bread. I didn't like it.
It's just a cold
I
bean
eat the
sandwich.
mashed potatoes on bread.
Now, I don't eat it every time we make it. It ain't like a piece of buttered cornbread or nothing. But it's okay. Got on late. We'll watch again. Lois, go back and watch it. It's pinto beans and cornbread night. Good evening, John and Mama and Nola from Mississippi. Hope you all have a blessed night. Well, thank you, Peggy. We hope you do too. White beans with dumplings, so good. We've had white beans and dumplings like at Christmas when Mama makes dumplings with a big meal. But normally, if we make dumplings is the meal. But now, every once in a while...
they're talking about putting dumplings in the beans, cooking it in it.
Oh, is that what y'all talking about?
I've heard people talk
I'm talking about having a pot of white beans and make chicken and dumplings
No,
separate.
they're talking about dropping the bread in the beans.
I wouldn't be opposed to that. And it might be something I even like. You can, which we won't need to because we get cornbread, but you can, on the second day, you can put pinto beans in your cornmeal batter and make bean cornbread fritters.
Make them like tater cakes.
It's not tater cakes. You take your beans and put your cornmeal, and then you make a little cornbread and bean fritter. Those are pretty good.
And eggs.
You put an egg in to get it to bind. John,
You're stuck.
I don't know what I did. John, I'm a twin, and I still always got the middle of the adult. And listen, isn't it the truth, Kathy? Just some kids are that way. And Kathy, you're like me. I can pick them out of the crowd like that right there. He's tired of fooling with them kids. He's wanting to hear some stories. I was that kid too, Mary. See, Mama, there's a bunch of us out there who just want to sit around and listen. Mama said, now don't you start whining next week when you ain't got nobody to play with.
I said, no, I called you Nosy Rosie.
Nosy Rosie, get in there and play with them kids. I play with them kids. They're getting on my nerves, Mama. Oh, John, what an interesting book yeah, it could be a good one, Linda, because I would put a lot of the heritage and the history in it. I don't know if we told you about my daddy and Let It Ride, or It'll Ride.
Oh, wow.
My whole life I've heard It'll Ride. Meaning, he didn't want to take the time to tie it down, strap it down, secure it properly. Bale of hay, loads of hay. We went and got a china cabinet one time for Mama. She'd bought it off a lady. And it had glass doors on it. You know what a china cabinet. And it was heavy. And Daddy said, oh, I won't go that fast. It'll ride. And I said, Daddy, now listen. We can ride hay all you want to. We can even let some furniture every now and then ride, like couches, when it needs to be strapped down. Because with this china cabinet, I ain't going home with you if we don't tie this one down. Oh, you're just like your mommy. I said, Daddy, if we don't tie that china cabinet down, do you think you can live long enough to explain it to Mama? Well, we'll put a strap on it. Well, we strapped it down, bungee corded it good, wrapped some things around them glass doors. You know, done it right. We got going down the road, and somebody pulled up in front of him. He slammed on them brakes, and that china cabinet rocked for about 2 minutes, it felt like. He didn't say a word. When everything settled down, we got on over the hill, and he said, boy, I sure am glad you made me tie that down. Nobody wanted to come home to that and explain how that china cabinet you bought, we didn't tie it down, and it's in 47,000 pieces from here to the top of the hill. But it would have surely fell over. Because when you slam on your brakes that way, it'll do it every time.
Oh, yeah.
Then he was always letting it ride, wasn't he, Mama?
Yeah.
It'll ride.
We had a big load of baled, square baled hays on the truck and going up this hill. I told him, I said, you had to pull out of the side road where we got it from and up a hill, straight up a hill. It's halfway up the hill where it come out. Oh, that will ride. We don't have to tie that down. We got halfway up through there. At bales of hay started rolling off of that truck, going down the road. We had to pack hay and pack hay. And I said, I told you you should have tied it. Well, I was the one up on top of the truck stacking it, and he's throwing it up to me. And he's told me when it all fell off, he said, I didn't stack it right.
Now, we did this hay when hay season was in. We cut all of our fields and we hauled tons of hay. But anytime he could buy hay from somewhere all through the year, we was running all over the place buying hay and picking up hay. And he traded horses. So we would go and buy horses, and every week he'd bring them home. He'd keep some of them. He'd take some of them back and sell them the next week. He was into pigs and horses and cow. We always had a need for hay. So he was always picking up a load of hay, and he said, we could go haul hay, which meant we had to, wherever we had to go. And we've heard it'll ride 1,000 times, haven't we, Mom?
Oh, yeah.
Good times now. It ain't too good when you're fighting traffic and trying to pick your hay up off a hillside and trying to get it loaded to at least haul to the house. We've reloaded a couple of truckloads. Good times now. Have you ever noticed about good times? They seldom are good at the moment. Most of the time, the good old days
Was bad old days.
was hard. But once you get on the other side of them, then they turn into the good old days.
You remember when I was stacking it on the truck down here in the field and Sonny pulled out?
Oh, and Mama done 3 somersaults backwards to the ground. She
I
come
went
up
on to the bale of hay though.
with a bale of hay in her hand. She come this way over the top. Then she come down to the next little level. Then she come down to the level sticking out the tailgate. And then she flipped again and out on the ground she left it. Now, before y'all get nervous, she was probably 30 or 28. This was in her young years. Mama didn't haul hay, as she got more seasoned.
I couldn't handle it now.
But now when she was 28, 29, 30 in those
I worked
years.
right along with the men. I could do it.
Yeah, she's on top of everything. We had, the scariest thing she ever did, we had some old equipment that was my papa's, and we still used it. And one of them was a hay rake. And she's supposed to have a horse to pull. And Daddy hooked it up to the truck. And he put Mama on that big metal seat of that hay rake. I ain't never seen the beat in all my life, her riding through them fields. Hanging on that hay rake, because you had to have some weight on it. And that was some good old days. Don't want to do them again, though, do we?
No. Couldn't do them again. I couldn't hold
now.
up to it.
Couldn't do them now. That was some rough times sometimes, wasn't it, Mom?
Mm-hmm. No, I hit the button.
Well, Mama, you're throwing things.
That means hurry up. Let's get off the road.
Mama's ready to go. She's saying that you're talking too much. That's what she's going to tell me after.
Mm-hmm.
I'll get her talking to after this show.
We've held them on here a long time.
We're going to go now. This was just such a good night. It was like a birthday party. Having soup beans and cornbread and that butter cornbread. I've almost ate that whole piece of butter cornbread. And
That makes 2 pieces of bread, you think?
I ate 2 pieces. I ain't going to lie. I told them before we started.
You was going to eat all you wanted.
I was going to eat me some cornbread tonight. And I told them I was going to have me a butter piece.
Yeah.
But I still think it's pretty good, Mama.
Oh, yeah, you done good.
I'm feeling a little guilty. I may not eat that other piece, but then how
Oh, it
much more
won't be
guilt could
good.
you have over that little piece?
No, just go ahead and eat it. Yeah.
Mama, you anything else you want to add?
No, I'm full.
I'm full too. It was a good supper. You did great.
Well, thank you. I did
And
good.
Lord lets me live to Sunday with good health. I'm going to fix you. I've got the steaks in there. I'm going to fix you a ribeye and a baked potato
Mm-hmm.
and maybe a little skinch of salad or something.
No, let's just have, like, I won't eat all that other stuff. I won't eat all the ribeye. I just eat the baked potato and part of the ribeye.
Okay, it's your day, Mama.
Mm-hmm. Make it simple and sweet.
All right. If that's what you want. I may even try to go this weekend and try to find some ferns and some flowers.
No.
You ain't want no flowers this year.
I
She
don't
said
know.
last year, we overdid it. Jens was with us. She said, about midsummer, she said, we ain't doing this next year. I said, doing what? I was watering flowers. We ain't spend an hour every day watering flowers and stuff. We got too much to do, and they don't last anyway.
No, they don't last.
I meant to tell you.
What?
You know, you thought you killed the hydrangeas.
There's one I know coming out.
There's all coming out.
Oh, they're all coming out with the.
They're
They
coming
just
out.
won't bloom this year, probably.
Well, no, Mama, they ain't gonna bloom probably. But they got the little green leaves, and they're just trying ever so hard to get started.
Well, I hope they do.
So I think they're gonna be perfect. So what I think I can do is take the
Give them
ones.
some miracle grow and say, there, eat that and grow some more.
I think what I'll do is take them out of these pots since we don't think they're gonna bloom. Now they could bloom because some bloom on new growth, but I think these weren't. But I'm going to take all those we have, once they get them a good start, plant them in the ground, and then put your pots with some blooming something, or something that'll show up, and then we'll still have both.
Well, I hope they come out.
They're doing good.
I thought I killed them all.
No, I checked, I sent it yesterday. I meant to tell you, but I forgot.
Mm.
You must have seen them too, didn't tell
I
me.
seen that one was coming out, but I just thought it was just one of them.
No, I've seen 3 of them.
Mm.
Good news. She didn't kill
Good
them
news.
hydrangeas. All right, Mama, say goodbye. You got off on a rabbit trail and talking them
I
today.
know it. Shame on me.
Say good night, Mama.
Good night, Mama, and God bless you all. Have a wonderful night.
Bye, y'all. Lord willing, we'll see you tomorrow. We'll cook some more.
Bye.
Bye.